Oh Lord. All right. All right. Um. All right. This one kind of touchy. This one kind of touchy. And like I said, I don't know if the little challenge still going on, but here we go. Fort Worth, Texas police officers. Fort Worth police officers are now saying that the Tatiana Jefferson case was not a welfare check. I'm gonna repeat. Fort Worth, Texas police officers are saying that the Tatiana Jefferson case was not a welfare check. They're now saying it was a call about a burglary. Now, for those of you that are following this case very closely, the way I'm following it, major news outlets such as MSNBC, CNN, Fox, ABC, and NBC, they all set up there in their official reporting of the story and said that it was a legit welfare check. So, shout out to LaShonda Green Gospel for bringing this to my attention. I went back to all those news outlets and I watched. Hey, Kitty. So I went back to all of those news outlets and I watched the report that they did on the neighbor who called. The neighbor said he called and asked for a welfare check because her door was open at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hmm. For those of you that don't know, the U.S. Supreme Court gave cops the ability to lie to the general public. So I'm like, okay, wait. So now we're sitting up here and we're smearing this young woman's name. So I listened to the neighbor's interview with several news organizations 3 times. And he himself said it was a welfare check. He called to do a welfare check. And usually with a welfare check, the cops, depending on what region you stay in of any state, they go around the house before they go to the door. They didn't go to the door, nor did they identify themselves as police. Now, the Fort Worth Police Department are saying a welfare check. Hello, Deborah. They're saying that a welfare check can be extended to anything under the scope of burglary, homicide, domestic violence, etc. I'm like, wait. So now you mean to tell me when you say welfare check, it now falls under burglary, homicide, domestic violence, etc. Wow. Hey, Beehive. I'm like, wow. So I got to thinking. I got to thinking. Mm. Why didn't the cops? Why didn't the cops go straight to the front door? I mean, common sense. If I was a cop and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I saw someone's front door open, common sense would tell me go to that front door. And as I'm walking up to that front door, first thing you're gonna hear is, "This is the police." Oh, I'm sorry. First thing, like if I was a cop, first thing first, what you're gonna hear as I'm walking up them steps to that front door, you're gonna hear, "This is such and such police department. I'm stopping by to do a welfare check, and I'm gonna knock on that door until I get an answer. I'm not just gonna walk around the house without identifying myself as a person of the law, aka a public servant, because that's what cops are, a public servant." From there, I'd have walked around the house tapping on the windows, yelling again, "This is the police. I'm doing a welfare check. Could I see you, talk to you?" That's just me if I was a cop. But this officer didn't do none of it. Now, if I'm going about this the right way, I want to say she was a licensed gun carrier. She was a licensed gun carrier. And she did what any person would do when they have a child in the house with them. You just shining a light through my window, I'm gonna go in my little purse or wherever, get my firearm, and I'm gonna draw it. And once I draw it, I'm gonna use the stance of okay, it's fight or flight. But keep in mind, this cop did not identify himself as an officer, and he shot through her window. Yes, Kitty, that's all he had to do. That's all he had to do was just yell through the house. So now, what really sealed this officer's fate was her nephew, her 8-year-old nephew who witnessed everything front to back. That's the only reason why he went to jail. He posted, I want to say he had a $200,000 bond. He posted 20,000 to get out. So now, what Fort Worth, Texas is trying to do, they're smearing her name to make the cop look good, to say he followed everything to the letter of the law. It's going to come down to the cops versus this 8-year-old kid who witnessed everything. And they're going to say this kid made this up. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We've seen this time and time and time again when a cop is caught down bad, dead to rights, and a child will not be considered a credible witness. I don't know why cops get away with so much, but this right here is gonna turn nasty real quick, real soon. This girl was going to, well, she moved back home to take care of her sickly mother, Shelly D. A reasonable person will go to the door, but the dude was not a reasonable person. He was a trained special response team, aka SWAT, aka attack dog. Shelly D, that is true. That is very much true. Very much true. I'm looking at Botham Jean all over again. He gonna get them 10 years. 2.5 he'll be out. The rest probably on paper. Mark my words. Mark my words. I want to say his last name is Dean. Hold on. I want to get his name right. Hold on. His name was Aaron Dean. Now, peep this. Peep this. Jefferson was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew, whom she was babysitting late at night, when a neighbor noticed the front door of the house was ajar. The concerned neighbor called the Fort Worth Police Department's non-emergency line to request a welfare check. Jefferson's nephew told authorities that she had taken a handgun from her purse when she heard noises outside and pointed it towards the window. Now, it's stated, and this is coming from NBC News. This is coming from NBC News that it was requested as a welfare check, and it was called in on the non-emergency line. So now, why is Fort Worth Police Department trying to spin this narrative that it wasn't a welfare check? Cover up, perhaps? Body camera footage shows the perspective of an officer outside the home, peering into a window using a flashlight and spotting someone instead of standing standing near a window and telling her, "Put your hands up now, show me your hands," before firing one shot through the glass seconds later. Where was the announcement that I am the cops? I am with Fort Worth Police Department. Where was that? The two officers responding to the call did not, I repeat, did not identify themselves to Jefferson before she was killed. Same thing the nephew just said. They let Dean, 34, resign first before firing him. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? The superintendent had this to say: had the police officer not resigned, I would have fired him for violations for several policies, including our use of force policy, our de-escalation policy, and our unprofessional conduct, Cross said. The chief, sheriff, y'all got some explaining to do. Why smear this young sister's name, who was going to school to be a doctor, who moved from her place to her mother's place to take care of her, so she can save money to go to med school, help with the family? Just like Dallas Police Department saying that the Joshua Brown killing has nothing to do with the Amber Geiger case. I'm gonna call a spade here and say that Mr. Dean felt that he can get away with murder. I would like to know you guys' perspective of this whole smearing of Atiana Jefferson. So, y'all drop comments down below in the comment section. I have some digging to do on this story and notes to take. Without further ado, you guys have a blessed morning. I'm going to enjoy this thunderstorm while I'm taking notes, and y'all have a blessed day.